So we wanted to get that around the way at first. Now let's deal with the current events before we go into some things, because I got to be at the airport at 6 o'clock, so that means I speak for 4. I usually speak to 5, and the last time I spoke it was up to 6 hours, so we're going to go back down to 4 hours, and I might make it. Okay. All right. Now, you know about the earthquake in Japan.
Yeah.
Let's do this. What had happened was, Japan bought up all of America and bought up most of California, so they took on California's karma.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? Even though it was an Indian prophecy that that it was gonna hit Japan, and there was gonna be a fault that was gonna move through Europe. You see? But they knew, prophesizing, that in actuality that they was gonna buy this thing up, and they took on the karma of California, because the financial backbone of California is Japan and of America or whatever. But then again, on the other hand, they took on the karma. You see, we channeled based on that. Like I said before, well, what do you mean? How do you get this stuff? Like I said before, I have spiritual sisters as well as my own stuff, because I channel through the books, and so different people channel several ways. The spirit comes to me through the material and read into what the lies they're trying to cover up. But anyway. I have several sisters, one in New York, 2 in Atlanta, 2 in Detroit, and several ones, and it corresponds perfect. It's the same thing, it's just that most of you, when you asking some questions about, you know what, is my boyfriend gonna leave me, crazy stuff. You see what I'm saying? When you're supposed to be asking stuff on how to get out of this particular stuff. Now, so we had channeled, based on the spirit, we had channeled that it was going to hit Japan, it was going to hit California on the 15th, which was last Sunday. But a day later, it came in Japan, and almost a year later, it hit New York, California before. But they came back Tuesday and said, well, California is going to get some soon within the matter of weeks. So I'm just saying, be on the lookout. You see what I'm saying? Be on the lookout. I said, what about all them black people there? They say they have been warned. You see what I'm saying? That's legit. You see what I'm saying? Somebody tell you there's a hole in the floor and you still want to put a damn a rug over it and step over it and stuff. That's it. Now, but based on I think the information from Dawood and the information from Brother Bill Lilly, and all, because we got a consortium of brothers around this team working at this thing, because we right in the apocalypse. We got a lot of good stuff to cover tonight. Y'all bear with me. Don't leave out, because it's a lot of good stuff. I'm going to tell you some things you need to do. We're going to cut down on some things you need to do metaphysically, and there's some things, they said there's some things that you've been staring you in the face all these years, and it's just one little thing that we don't do, and it's something that you, when you hear it, you go, oh man, is that all? We always take the long route. Now, based on last week, it was Martin Luther King's birthday on the 15th, which you got to realize that all numbers are infinite, and you need to start learning how to work with numbers, and one of the best ways to work with numbers is based on Kabbalah. It's one of the best ways. One of the best ways. Now, I'm gonna give you a book that you need to get, which is one of the best Kabbalahs in the world. You see, one of the best Kabbalahs in the world. Now, even though Raul Nefer lines up the Egyptian gods of the Kabbalah, number one, the Kabbalah, you can't fit a Kabbalah in a chapter of a book, because a Kabbalah, some Kabbalahs take 2 and 3 books to just put together, so you can't. So I'm saying the completion of that, that's fine. But when you're talking about the science, number one, those particular Hebrews was black. Now we even find out that in actuality, that the Greek language that we've been thinking now has been a white language, the Greek language was a black language, because the original black people that was a part of Greece for 300 years before the mutants came in, they learned the language from them, because remember, they could not speak. But remember now, if you really study the Greek language is like John Henry Clark said, it was one of the best, they were some of the best namers. Because even though you got Kim, Egypt means black, but Egypt is still a beautiful word, because it was a black language. The first Roman language, all that, because white people could not speak. So they learned based on the places that they went into. You understand what I'm saying? And then later on, they only got the English language based on chopped up pieces from all over the world. You understand? And it's only been, the English language has only been completed about 100 years. Even doing the old English and stuff, you know, they had to skip in a whole bunch of bull jive. You understand what I'm saying? It was only been completed about 100 years. Now, what's happening here is, based on this Kabbalah, you need to get Aleister Crowley's Kabbalistic 777. Why? Because they have a page in there that has Egyptian deities, and they got one of those Egyptian deities. They have a page that have Hebrew deities, then it goes in and it gives you all of the stones. It's one of the greatest books ever put together on Kabbalah. That's why the white people, if you deal with what they deal with, that's one of the books that they deal with. I think this book is like $9, $10, $9. Samuel Weiser put it out, so I'm saying that. Kabbalistic 777 is one of the best ones. Kabbalistic 777 is one of the greatest monumental books because in the beginning, in the front chapter of the book, they take the Kabbalah is nothing but a breakdown of the universe and a breakdown of the autonomy of the body of God. And in the beginning of the book, in the first chapter, they break down all of the book, goes back to the first chapter, and they show you the actual melanin molecule based on what the Kabbalah is about. They show the actual molecule of melanin, and it's called a great work. Abracadabra. Abra, which means sun. Had also, which means the black sun. Abracadabra, which is, you get the word abracadabra from, but abracadabra is a name for melanin that opens up the spiritual centers and all, believe it or not. Now, let's see, last Sunday was Martin Luther King's birthday, based on Kabbalah and based on numbers. That's the 15th, 1 and 5 is 6. Okay, 1 and 5 is 6. He was 66, so that makes 666. Now, 666 spiritually is 999 upside down. You understand what I'm saying? 999 upside down. Okay, they had a cardinal in Rome. That's the beast element. So you got 999, which represents Baptist, which is water. And you got the Catholic Church of Rome, Illuminati Central, which they had a cardinal who was, I think he was 75. You see. 75, which is 12 on Sunday, last Sunday. 12. 2 times 6 is 12. That's 2 6s, and in the 15th, 1 and 5 is 6, that's 666. So you had these numbers that correspond. These numbers that correspond also, too. And so it was a very sacred day, and it just carried over the next day and just dropped the bomb on the actual Japanese, who are in actuality are mutants and do not love black people. And also, too, they brought it upon themselves for the simple fact that they hate us. And the Prime Minister said that you know, the problem with America is niggers in it. So the problem with Japan is a bunch of dead Japs with buildings on top of their ass because they don't love us. Right. Now remember how the Book of Law says, damn those who pity. Damn those who pity the bloodsuckers of the earth. Jesus didn't pity them, and no other prophet in the Bible ever compromised. You understand what I'm saying? So when it comes to white people in our condition, you don't supposed to compromise anyway. Now, they said that this particular thought is going to move through Europe. But the Spirit stopped us and said, wait a minute, hold on. What's getting ready to happen to Europe is going to be 8 times worse than what's getting ready to happen to Japan. Now, there's things that's going on all over the world, and Australia is burning up. The same time they had a flood last week in LA, they had a flood. Europe was up underwater. Now, Europe was up underwater twice. Now, the thing with LA is because they have a cosmic cycle called El Nino, which means the child, which is the form of the Christ. In that cosmic cycle, the Christ is born out of water. When you see Heru, he's born off of the lotus plant with the thumb in his mouth. He's born out of water. So that particular flood is also cleansing the planet and bringing in the Christ energy. Now that Christ energy, when you have the Christ figure only means he's a figure and an example for the rest of you to follow by. It's just like the mama said, I'm leaving the house, you the oldest daughter, I want you to set the example. You understand what I'm saying? But that means you are all Christ. So it means the Christ and the rising of black people. that the rising black. Now I haven't. The Spirit came and told me I couldn't speak, and I stopped speaking on November the 19th for my last lecture. I had one in Charlotte on the first weekend in January. Was the first weekend I spoke, and all. But they had me locked in a house between November 19th and 12/12, and I couldn't go anywhere. And a whole lot of things went down. We're going to get into that too, because things are very spiritual right now. And I'm telling you, you can believe me. I'm saying that we are right in the brink of these things. So there's going to be a couple of books you need to study, and a key crucial book that you need to study at this particular time. I'll get to it in a few minutes. But number one, you've got to get the serious mystery, because there's a chapter put in there. Robert Temple, the serious mystery. Now, let's go on. Number one now. We're going to deal with a whole lot of things that's getting ready to go down. Number one, I told you before, the summer of 94, last summer I met a white boy, and the white people know this stuff now. Let's face it. Cracker said that, look, he said they don't let nobody in that seat, the presidential seat, not unless they have at least 2 or 3 clones. So therefore, if some stuff happened, they can replace them. So he said that Bill Clinton was a clone. Right? Okay. Next thing is, what happened was, is the sister that I'm with, we went to the Indian mounds on the 1st of September, and they opened her up, so she's a psychic. So they came through, and they said, well, number one, they come through and they tell her things when they want to give out stuff. I ask the questions, I can get them, but they tell her things also. They said, well, you know, the white boys made a movie. The white boys made a movie to show that Bill Clinton was a clone. They made the movie. The movie came out in 93, and the movie is a movie that showed that Bill Clinton was a clone. And the movie is called Simply Dave, with Kevin Kline. Go look at the movie, Dave. His name is in the movie. His name is what? Bill Mitchell. But they told you that he had a heart attack, and they had this guy Dave from a little town came and replaced him. That's a movie to tell you about the clone. The Spirit says anytime the white man does some stuff, they will come and give other white people's ideas and finance them to get it out, so therefore they can tell you and you can go right to your movies. So we're going to deal with a lot of movies tonight too. So the movie is Dave, which is the cloning of Bill Clinton. That's the movie you need to go see. Also, what has happened is you have Newt Gingrich is the Speaker of the House, which is the third in command. You have your real president is actually Al Gore, who was the New World Order man that wrote a book on the New World Order and told you that Africa was finished in 92. He's the real one because, remember now, he was the Democratic man that ran in 88 and could not win. He was not popular enough to win.